Hey YouTube, it's Pac-Rant 5698 again, and sorry for the delays, but I've been busy with schoolwork, so I'll get going on my Guardians of the Galaxy review soon, along with some other movie reviews. And I just saw a video in the midst of all this debate on the net neutrality issue that really bugs me and perplexes me. Like, I've seen a lot of, debates going back and forth between what should become of the internet, whether we should encourage net neutrality or clear up net neutrality. And most of the arguments against net neutrality, I think, really don't hold up well, and they just boggle my mind. But there was this one video I just saw, I'll put a link in the description, that just really disturbs me. It's basically this FreedomWorks ad that says that apparently that because the internet in its current form has a net neutral environment, that means that all content is treated equally. Yeah, they're saying it like it's a bad thing, and that this calls for too much regulations and government interference and whatnot. And apparently, I hate to say it, a lot of people are actually eating this stuff up. Now, let me just say as a preference, I want to try to not really talk too much in this case about politics. I want to talk about how the internet works and why it's important to everybody, regardless of what your political world is. But I'll just come out. I'm a socialist, so, well, to put in better words, I'm a liberal socialist, I believe in basically, we can learn a lot from European countries with higher standards of living and better education, etc., etc. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for freedom of expression, for freedom of the press, all that good stuff. I know most of the amendments of the Constitution. But here, I more want to talk about the internet and why it's so important to you. Now, the internet is probably the biggest breakthrough for the entire world and human civilization in modern times. I mean, this method of communication, this method of life, entertainment, organization, the ability to do transactions very quickly, all of this entire world, the internet in itself has created its own world, and we use it a lot, and we love it, and billions of people across the world nowadays can't imagine going one day without at least, I don't know, an hour worth of internet. I mean, a lot of people here in America, especially my area, we are glued to our chairs, whether we're on a laptop, or a desktop computer, whether it's a Mac, whether it's a Toshiba laptop, just glued to the internet. And the internet actually gave me a pretty good hobby, which is this YouTube channel. And basically what I'm getting at here, I'll also put these videos in the description. Go to Extra Credits and CPC Gray's videos on why net neutrality and the way the FCC is handling it has worked. Again, as I stated before, content is treated equally. There's no, actually, ironically, there's no external interference at basically deciding what type of content you should see. There's nobody deciding, what website should be slowed down, which ones should run faster, and there's no ISPs basically dictating what we want to see when we go on an internet. We want a free and open internet. We don't want a biased, control over this information superhighway where we just have internet service providers deciding what they want to do, all to benefit their corporate interests. Now, what I'm getting out here is this. If we give internet service providers the ability to control this internet, which is probably what it's looking at in our government now, because a lot of these internet service providers are paying people like Ted Cruz a lot of money to basically slander net neutrality, places like, or companies like Comcast, because they honestly just want to, I find no better way to say it, they just want to get a good grip on the internet, and they want to be the ones that replace net neutrality. Verizon, Comcast, all of these places, etc. Now, at first, you may be glad that apparently with no new net neutrality, supposedly there's no government interference and the free market kicks in. And you know what? I think a lot of people have good. I think the free market in history has produced a lot of good stuff. I also think there's some negatives, but you know, we have the free market to thank for a lot of stuff. And regardless of your political preference, I think at some point people would safely say they want, I don't know, maybe this part of the government out of their lives, whether it's tiny, whether it's big. You know, we've all had those moments where we don't want the government out of their lives, but don't be so happy of what happens if these ISPs dictate what will become of our internet. Because when they are in charge, what's to stop them from basically breaking, you know, their own, what's to stop them essentially from just doing business practices that hurt people who view the internet yet benefit them. For example, this could lead to essentially crony capitalism. If you don't know what crony capitalism is, it's essentially a system where, you know, the state is rigged by cronies, you know, people at the very top who control the government, so that every policy works to their advantage and usually just ignores the majority. You know, an oligarchy, something like that. So imagine if we did not have a net neutral web and instead we had these ISPs and these ISPs in charge. There would be nothing stopping websites from directly dealing with these ISPs to slow down access to other internet sites so that it could benefit them. For example, say MySpace. MySpace has not been doing too well. You know, MySpace pretty much got slaughtered by Facebook. But if net neutrality is gone and not all content is created equal, what's to stop MySpace from making a deal with, say, its internet service provider so that it will block access to Facebook and slow it down so that people will go to MySpace? Nothing. The same thing can happen, as Extra Credits said it, with Encyclopedia Britannica. Encyclopedia Britannica Online could just make an agreement with an ISP to halt access to Wikipedia. The same thing could go for, say, any website that wants to target YouTube. Excuse me. Yeah, any website that targets YouTube, they could slow down video buffering, they could slow down performance and access, and that just, in the end, does that sound like a free environment for the internet? No, this is crony capitalism essentially run amok. So, I know that the some people have problems with the FCC, everybody does, but for the way that's been working at now, I actually am very happy with what goes on. Of course, there's some inappropriate stuff on the internet that has to be removed with laws in place, but the more that content is treated equally, the more people and smaller businesses have an opportunity to expand. They have an opportunity to play by a set of rules, and not only rules, but fair rules, where they can do their best to try to make it up there with the big guys. With net neutrality, the rule is that success is judged by content and the consumers who consume that content. But if we were to take net neutrality away and allow all these ISPs to run the show, it wouldn't be judged by who has the better content or who attracts the most customers. It would be judged by whoever cheats the most, essentially. I think that's the easiest and simplest way to put it. So, people, I just have to say, don't believe any of this nonsense that is going on. Net neutrality is very beneficial, and the fact that apparently it's not engraved into US law is a tragedy. We need stuff such as net neutrality to provide a safe and open internet. We don't want an internet that's controlled by, ISPs and, so that we can just have websites, running amok and doing all of this horrible digital slaughter, as I like to call it, just for their benefit. The internet was created by the average person, such as you, such as the person probably watching this, and a ton of other people, so we just can't let net neutrality fail. So I urge you, do whatever you can to protect net neutrality. Don't listen to any of this horrible slander that says, the government is going to come in and it's going to be an Orwellian future. We're going to be in 1984 if net neutrality, expires. It's just not true. You can do research. You can do, you can look into the history of net neutrality. All this stuff they're telling you, it's practically conspiracy theories at this point. It's conspiracy theories that you would expect to see on the History Channel. Well, the current History Channel, that is. So, I'll put the links to the videos. If I did not explain it well to you, I think there are plenty more videos that explain it better, but I just want to get this off my chest. And the main thing I want to say is, please, at all costs, defend net neutrality. You love the internet. I love the internet. Let's not have our internet slow down. Let's not have websites go and play dirty. Let's not have corporations just, gobble up all of the internet just for their own advantage, for their own money. People like us are the ones that should have the final say in what happens to the internet. So please, comment below, let me know what you think about this issue, and just please, let's get out there, let's do our best to defend net neutrality, and let's have a safe and open internet. I'll see you all later with some more material. Bye-bye.